blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me.
Star-snatched Cliff is known for its views. And a radish bush is too. It's been getting quite busy recently.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
I guess I'll host an expedition at the Adventurers Guild. Star-snatched Cliff is known for its views.
A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Guess I'll host an expedition at the Adventurers Guild.
So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time. A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities.
At the Adventurers Guild. Star-snatched Cliff is known for its views. There will definitely be something that catches your eye.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
It's been getting quite busy recently. Which should I choose? You're also here for Mondstadt's wine, aren't you? Haven't you heard? There's a strange wanderer in your room.
I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me.
Так, а теперь меня слышно? Я забыл включить звук. Всем привет. Ой, как? Где у меня игра? Сама играюсь. Да, есть такое, иногда забываю включить сразу же звук. То есть первым делом я чат проверяю, потому что бывает он долго подключается, поэтому можно увидеть сообщение тест 1, тест 2, тест 3, тест 6. Кстати, даже всех подключается YouTube. Поэтому у него бывает его проверяю в последнюю очередь, потому что он дольше подключается, и у него больше сообщений бывает будет, чтобы проверить. Кстати, я его чуть-чуть прокачали. Сегодня я его доделала пушечку, 90 сделала, и ее саму почти до 80-го догнала. Правда, нифига не качаная. И шевроны похарника, да. Здесь сколько шевронов? 24 синих. Это дольше, чем высыпали даже. Будто минута, полторы и готово. А этих шевронов пинать. Я хотела сегодня сделать квестики. Вот эти. Что за веер? А не будете квест интересно решать, Ивань? Даже хотела ее квест сделать. Елянь. А мне она понравилась, так что я буду ее до 90 качать. Быть вторым саппортом в бездне. Гидросаппортом. Ну и пока я и прокачиваю уровень дружбы, она мне будет в патике. На 5-й, Венти 8-й, Юнзин 8-й. Венти и Юнзин одновременно упали. В одной десяточке. Вот. А так все остальные герои уже по 10 очков дружбы. Так, что там было по квесту? Ну, я, чтобы я карточку дружбы быстрее получить, я в чайник ее поставила. И во время ивента кормления я ее воткнула в чайник и кормила еду, и только ее. Все 21 раз.
Traveler, bye, Mon.
Да.
It's been a long time.
Oh, hey, Hoishin. Long time no see. Fancy meeting you here. How's work these days?
Thanks to the help of people like you and colleagues like Ganyu, better all the time. But I've been feeling distracted at work lately. It's a long story. But my father...
What's wrong with Uncle Tian?
Ну, это надо уже топать к врачу, чтобы выяснить, что случилось. В смысле, катала по карте. А, поняла. Да у нее и аппетит хороший, и метаболизм хороший, так что она ходит ножками сама.
Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Anyway, my father's currently on the second floor of Yangsheng Tea House. Why don't you... He's very fond of you too. I'm sure chatting with you will make him very happy.
Sure, let's go.
Так. Вон бегает. Даже вон прыгает. Только хотела смотреться в поисках книжек.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Hoishin, why don't you go downstairs and get... I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. I would very much like to hear your adventure stories.
Ну да, она мне выпала неожиданно, конечно. Я, в принципе, не хотела выбивать. Надо было C1 на яку выбить, попробовать. О. А у меня дольше всех падала Рэдом. А не по той причине, что она падала на какой-то запредельной крутке. Она где-то 7.6, 7.8 где-то так падала. А просто потому, что гемы кончились. И в игре их больше не было, неоткуда было взять. Вот. Давай, удачи. Ну, зато у Хутао хороший урон. Приветик. О, так. Good. Very good. Блин, у меня познание английского весьма хреновое. Sorry, I don't speak English. Ага. Просит посмотреть. Так, где там копировать? Что там у человека съела? Так, Ctrl-C.
Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry, I'm quite all right. It's as I grow older, I'm starting to
Секундочку,
find
сейчас
that
квест до
many
эвакуации.
things, though the mind is willing, I am still very much in good standing.
How difficult.
Oh, well, you see, historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu canon. For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends...
So in other words, you pick someone and...
Correct. Unfortunate not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf.
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget all about me.
It's Yaron!
Jackpot. Uncle Tien here asked me to assess. Fancy joining me? You'll be among the first.
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too.
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tien, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning?
Huh? Yaron...
I'm not opposed to the idea. So, how about this?
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything's all set
Конечно,
for
что
the
никто не сдаст
assessment
экзамен,
beforehand.
и она станет опорой небес.
Meet me on the first floor when you're... Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment, this... You're all set?
О, неужели ассасины больше не будут прогонять?
Uncle Tien seems
Прошу вас, если нас
really
некультурно
worn
просвали
down.
здесь.
It's like all his energy's gone.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tien is... So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are... Xinwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingbua works at the Liuwei Ministry. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course.
Qianwei, Mingbo, Jiyi. Paimon's...
Let's leave that until we get to Yuehai. All right. Heads in the game, people.
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
Ура, они наговорились. Так. Вот, теперь можно посмотреть. Восстановление энергии. Шанс крита. 176. И говорили, что нужно около 200 крита. Ой, восстановление энергии. 200 плюс даже. Так, бонус хитрого урона. Так, оружие. Фавония? А кого тогда это вокруг? Нет. Артефакты. Ну, тут, видимо, хорошие артефакты, так? Ага. Картерон 19, шанс 3,9. Почти я так картовала. Нормально так. Вот тут реально обрезанное перо. Хотя, может быть, потом еще прокнет. Шанс крита. Может быть. Недавно точила артефакт. Там был и шанс крита, и крит урон, и все прокнуло в защиту. Вот это была печаль, конечно. Картерон 14,8. Прикольно. Ну, даже тут ХП и ХП. Так, а шапка? Шанс попадания. Приветики. Спасибо. М, 666 уже. Как там будет? Нет. Как оно было слово-то? На языке вертится. Кавайой. Вот слово кавай я вспомнила. Вот. Хорошенькая. Ее чуть-чуть докачать, и будет все окей. Нет, они сами без меня. Без моего на то участия. Так. Шанс карта 80. Охренеть. Там был павильон. А вон тут. Ну, у меня там весьма печальные статистики, я еще не докачала ее. Так, вот моя. Вот, восстановление энергии. Шанс крит, карт-урон, восстановление. 236. Должна хватить, по идее. Я на нее натянула артефакты Синтю, а Синтю дала другие старые артефакты, которые на нем были. Вот, перевесил с него. Говорится, пока что сойдет. Хотя могло бы быть и лучше, конечно. Недоточное. Прикольно. Так. Вот, не докачала чуть-чуть еще.
Take it easy.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair.
Передаю привет траванутым. Правда, звучит так, кого-то их потравили всех.
I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm waiting.
Oh, I mean, I...
That's called being complacent. If you're
Oh, come on. That's all right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument. Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been standing around for a while. It's natural to be getting irritable. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't we borrow some chairs?
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs, to be sure. But under the circumstances, it would be better than nothing.
Диона Гуд Хиллер. О, гра с тебя.
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally. I've split it into 2 stages. Current affairs. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In this, writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Офигенные стопочки бумажек, конечно.
Wow, one of them is
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will, failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to. There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression. I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let.
И который из них понадобится? Это или это?
Finished, huh?
everyone took it very
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new Tianshu, so you can bet they're putting their best foot forward.
А всех это кого?
And keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. That's from. We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time. Start with Chen.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps... I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any.
Mind your tone, Miss.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was Cloud Retainer. You know this, Adept? With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to understand the concepts I have put forward. Although I shouldn't get my hopes up.
Офигеть, какой персонаж интересный, ЧСВшный.
Oh, is it my...
Yes. Please.
I'm, Mingbo. I've worked there for, 9 years. I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be my current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing.
Is it just Paimon?
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction.
Oh.
Hello. What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so...
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields.
Very fair question, but I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places. Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on. What I've tried to do is strike a balance. In other words, present an optimal solution to all the problems as a whole.
Ну, обычно 7-8 где-то так. Филипп Киркоров. Ну, он бы явно был здесь звездой. И даже не 5 звезд, а все 6. Благодаря своему ЧСВ. И, конечно же, супер блестящим шмоточкам.
How do you plan to determine whether you are...
A great question. Well, I'd start if it turned out that my judgment was to blame for...
Nice answer.
He seems like a great
Спасибо.
guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes, but he is very proud and Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. But he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites.
perfect summary.
Last but not least, Yi. His manifesto is full of the depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle...
Great.
We'll see.
Может быть. Я помню, из-за того, что у него выступления такие яркие, фееричные, костюмы все себе блестящие. Вот, у меня маленькая сестренка, когда я была годика так 3, очень фанатела по нему.
All right. Then let me ask this.
Oh, I didn't want to say anything. Those 3 candidates have all, but Xin Wei went on to focus on his business, and Ming Bo has always been.
Whoa. So how did you get to know them?
Chen Wei was referred to me by an old friend. Ming Bo came to my attention in the course. We first met while fishing. Gradually, as Jury came from a poor family. He reminded me of a younger version of myself. So I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and And now, all of a sudden, the young are growing up and...
I don't know, Uncle Tian. You still seem in pretty good shape.
Oh, you. There's really no need to consult.
Sounds like you sure love
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to...
fresh fish soup. Mmm, sounds tasty.
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, Jury purchased a very special recipe from an old fisherman.
Интересно, чисто технически, сколько ворон потребуется, чтобы принести его тушку?
When we've been fishing recently, Jury always brings some extra ingredients he put. That flavor makes for a fond memory.
Oh, can come next.
Let's get back to the matter at hand.
Mm-hmm. I appointed. Had you not asked me why Jury's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not. This decision must be guided by what is fair. Remember, you.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tien. Look at...
Лично я болею за и с самого первого момента, по той причине, что у него сам разносторонний план был. А уж когда увидела, какой час первый, а второй излишне робок. Это... Да. Что-то мне так кажется.
His manifesto was written with...
Easy. Let's not rush.
Huh?
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is the biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. For example, Wenyuan, Shanghua.
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ух ты, у них на костюмах игральные кубики.
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. They work as my trusted assistants. They are always standing guard nearby. Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth.
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now.
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little win.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan?
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Jury?
Zhi. Well, obviously as the most... Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people...
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Wu, the owner of Wanyu Boutique? He does business at the North...
That's actually not a bad...
В принципе, я почти добралась пешком.
Take it easy.
Как говорится, надо было раньше телепортироваться.
Huh? What's Bulai doing here today?
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How am I supposed...
Come on, hear me out. I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded. If you won't take him, I'll just have to...
Okay, well, when you... Oh, what are you doing here? And to be clear, these Sunsetias are mine. I got to them first.
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy...
Jury? Yeah, I've heard a story about him. They say he was born... One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time. But Jury, he returned cruelty with kindness. Injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character.
Oh, he sounds like a decent man.
Why are you asking about him anyway? Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the...
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Lin Long. Come on, let's follow them and listen in. Try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
Опять будем подслушивать. Эх, Стас, неси.
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this.
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
What's the hurry? Don't get too close, or he'll see you.
Я пока не сомневаюсь в моих навыках слежки.
Try not to let him see you. We want this in.
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
My friend, what can I get?
So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine who likes to have a drink now and then.
What's the hurry? Don't get too close, or he'll see you.
Так, из какого раза я смогу подойти незаметно?
Try not to let him see you.
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine who likes to have a drink now and then. He fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Linlong.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me.
Juri seems to get along really well with everyone.
Офигеть. Я таки прошу этот квест.
Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like...
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet.
Do we have to? Wait, you're not just trying to dig up some...
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But hey, you'll be able to try all the finest food for free. How does that sound?
Уже подкупает. Какой кошмар.
We will? Well, come on!
Да, так круто, не тратить выносливость во время своего бега.
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers.
Привет, привет.
Let's see what Uncle Soon has to say.
welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the... We've heard about this young man called Jur-E who's supposed to...
Whoa! Yeon made up a whole fake identity.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you strong.
Yeah, we think so.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might...
Oh? Why?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally...
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend.
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000.
Странный человек математика.
You better hurry when they're go.
Hello, we're from the...
Wow.
Society for Fish Price Research.
Please, don't worry. We've heard about a certain Jur-E who's...
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but...
Oh? What?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed... He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him... I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just... It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not...
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that I think he has pretty low self-esteem. But hey, it's hardly my plate, and nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to have...
I see. Well, thank you.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing.
Doesn't have a lot of more...
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah, what brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory.
Really?
But of course, we also heard that Master Dooku is a kind...
Great! So what do you wish to know?
Now she's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dooku...
Sure have. You mean that I've heard many tales of probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer...
Oh, I can completely understand.
Oh yeah, I know that. Before that, people always used to talk about Juri in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm
Just as I thought.
Huh? What?
I mean, just as I thought.
I'm not Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never...
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them,
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to.
Thank you, ma'am!
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Strange? Juri seems to have a great reputation.
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden
Sudden?
So he returns cruelty with kindness, and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well-known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends... Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't interested. Plus, there's the fact that all this his childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor.
When you put it like that...
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look... Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned, he's either spent right, and that changes everything. That's the worst-case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic speculation...
Someone's trying to gain info, even if we ask Jiri about...
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, their manifesto tells us their stance on key. Whoever is secretly helping Jiri must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. Come on, let's get back to Yenshang Ti. Jiri's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to...
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tien might think of Jiri, the fact remains that any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully and think critically.
Even though Yelan took half, well, we got...
Давай, удачи, приятных снов.
Oh, this reading is giving time.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers! Shut! If you're back, that means you finished it.
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of...
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you...
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked her where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem it. Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once it's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of...
What a strange guy.
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many...
I'm back! Huh? How come you're here?
Приветик, спасибо.
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills, and am...
You... whatever. I'm not getting into an argument. Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating...
Well, we're all...
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbua struggles to get it, but after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, The feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very
О,
positive.
тебя ждет
It
много
always
чудных
considers the
открытий.
things that everyone else overlooks.
In your opinion, was the ministry...
I don't believe so. Mingbo is someone who, according to Miss Yu, the ministry often gets Mingbo to take a final look at Oh, and also, there was once someone in the ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbo...
Whoa.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
А какой выбил уже?
Ah, so that's what you meant.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished? I can't see any immediate problems looking at... The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Chengshu Pool. Chengshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there. So at some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great... A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing,
So, did they find any...
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time. So the excavation... Zhi-Yi's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of his plans. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on... Did you find it?
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of... Oh, yeah! Juri said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer.
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is...
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge...
Shenwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Juri? Is there an...
О, нехорошо дворец еще здесь припаркован. Ой, я чуть наушники не сшибу себе. Так.
Come with me. Let us find shelter from the rain.
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
Будет прикольно, если это окажется Джин И.
What's this?
From the back, it looks like a ledger. But it seems they also use it as a... We don't know who wrote it, but it's...
You think there's this big...
Yes. Look, it's at this rate. By the time the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan, that'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can cop... Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Juri recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, at most we would maybe do... No red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have had... That's the advantage of planning this far in advance.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we had... So, who's really behind...
That's a question for the newcomers.
Excuse us. We want to ask you about the new...
I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. My only complaint is that they're always... I guess they just need some time to adjust.
They go out drinking. This area isn't...
You got that right. They tell it rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the sun. Hey, you're only young once, right? I say.
Interesting. Let's go talk... Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. Drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Some covers. Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give themselves away that easily, but let's follow.
They went that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up! These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way. The footprints stop here, but judging from the direction, looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. Look at these ashes.
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have blown the...
The odds of that are very slim.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Black Cliff Forge? They've got...
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at what? To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else.
Darn!
Make no mistake. The purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. I smelled something peculiar. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different regions.
Really? Paimon can't smell anything.
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate, where there's nothing but ice as far as... Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink. When that fragrant ink is burned, this is exactly... The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing, but it's all I need. Now I know who...
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and... I sent him to look into Jur-E's regular contacts. Since Jur-E likes fishing, Upei thought he might know... I left him a note at Yanshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Black Cliff Forge when he got back. If so, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Jur-E before. When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Black Cliff Forge and might need...
Well, Uncle Tien said that Jur-E once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen. Did you...
What? No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible.
Interesting. Then I wonder how that
Fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hand... Well, any suggestions? Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you think?
Honestly, I've already tried following Jur-E, but the guy's too cautious.
Okay, so tailing.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But
Groundwork?
when you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that tomorrow morning I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Be sure to arrive on time. You won't... It looks like we're all here. Well then, I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role.
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush, just...
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas. Mingbo is reliable, but not quite in contrast, Zhi is evenly bound after much consideration.
What?
Oh, thank you. Honestly, I'm a little... In my estimation, all three of us are worthy...